artists all over the world of different discipline. They fund them and they do stunning articles and imagery, and they publish them in the print magazine and online. So I got lucky right after the British Council thing. Atmos approached Ashish and Kshitij to do a shoot on India, and I didn't know Ashish that time. So he saw the display of the indigo clothes I did, and he thought that that would be a right fit. So he approached me to create a shoot with him. We met through that, and now we are really close friends. He'd done a couple of shoots after. So when Ashisha approached on this, we thought, okay, everyone's just showing what you see when you show um, a sustainably made clothes. You see the product, and then you see the process, right? You see the indigo dyeing, right? And then you would see the indigo dyed clothes. So we wanted to do the clothes very differently. We want to link it with an emotion and with the people, and we wanted to address um, some of the interesting things going around in India because it's an international magazine. We wanted to indirectly take a theme and do something. It could be about the young couples. It could be about people who are kind of taking the choices in the city. It could be the new lifestyle process of how we are. We wanted to do a very subtle nuance of what's happening in India, but through a very modern shoot. And we didn't want any location. We wanted it to be absolutely clean. So this is one of the cover images we did because we kind of dripped indigo on the people while we shot, and these were the footprints. It just happened to be this beautiful imagery. And this is what Atmos talked about us. Atmos's idea was to they wanted to ask the creators around the world to interpret the meaning of latitude, where they belong, basically, and the ultimate language of self expression. That's why the format of the shoot had to be about the people and the place, and we wanted it to be unique, and we wanted to break the notion of what can come from India. We wanted to shock them a bit. We didn't want to do a very Indian, predictable Indian shoot. So that was the whole concept for it. So this is what Ashish and I created. If you see, so these guys were a couple and they were a very young couple. They were actually dating at that time. So we made the best use of it by putting them together on these two crochet pieces together. It kind of unifies them, it kind of brings them as one. And this is another piece. I mean, how can we tell a story about India without showing a sari, right? So there's a reason it still survives today. There's a reason you all still like to wear it today. A lot of my European friends always ask, like, when they don't, when they haven't visited India, they always ask me, "Oh, do people still wear like traditional clothes?" Because they see how modern India can also be, right? And when they visit, I always tell them, "Yeah, people wear saris, people wear veshtis, lungis," and they're like, "Oh, do you wear veshtis and lungis?" Yeah, it's my favorite thing. I wear also. And oh, your family, your people, they wear sari. Everyone in my studio, they come to work in a sari and they come cycling in a sari. So we even photographed one of my earlier campaign with Ashish. I insisted in Oroville, all my people used to come cycling. These women used to come in a beautiful sari tucked in on their waist and cycle to work. We wanted to show what a comfortable and elegant piece of clothing it is, and what an incredible design that it still lasts today. It's not something that we wear, like in Japan, for example, they don't wear kimono to work. They wear kimono when someone died, or they go to a temple, or something really special, or on their national day. They don't wear going to work, but we should be so proud that we still have a piece of our traditional clothing that we wear every day to work. You know, all your professors are wearing it, and your moms are still wearing it. You wear it sometimes, right? So, how many of you like to wear saris here? Yeah, you see, that's a huge thing. This doesn't happen in any other country. You name one country where they still wear the traditional clothes, right? Just think about it. It's impossible. They look funny even, but we look elegant. That's the beauty of it. So we had to show a sari, but again, I wanted to do it like there is this. Um there is this, when you be a teenager in South India, a Tamil girl, there is a concept called half sari. Do you guys know? It's very cute. I mean, what a beautiful thing. You're not intimidating a younger one with a 6 meter, 8 meter cloth. You design something for the person to get introduced to it. What a gentle approach, right? So this is a beautiful element of the Tamil culture also. I'm very proud of these kind of nuances that Tamil has. So this was inspired by the half sari. It's not a full meterage. This is not even a sari. Again, what exactly is a sari? It's a rectangular piece. You can literally take a curtain and look stunning with it. That's how sari is designed. So this is just a over-dyed cloth of ours. And this again, like I told you, I wanted to show the new India. I wanted to show how relationships are addressed. I wanted to show um, how the Westerners and the Europeans have a different opinion about how conservative and reserved Indians are. So I wanted to break it. This is my chance to tell my story, my culture, my people, and what is going on with our generation, right? So we wanted to show an image which is shocking as well as very real, and it's like that intimate love and people coming together and closer. So you can't. I mean, all the details are dead through the projector here. So this is a very beautiful piece of mine. Let me see if I can zoom in. So what this piece has is, I used to buy a lot of saris and cut them and make clothes. So this is how I started. When I told you I went to Bengal, when you weave, what happens is you need a minimum 50 meters yardage, right? So when you barely have money when you started, how could you solve that problem? Bengals weave literally Jamdani to all their mal to Murshidabad's fabrics to everything, they all had always made into a sari as well. So I used to go and buy saris. So every sari, 5 meters, 6 meters, I can get two garments done. But the challenge was the pallu. The pallu always had some over decorated thing. The border in the pallu always had something. It had a lot of zari. And I'm not a brand who's doing Indian clothes. So zari did not fit into the clothes. So I was making a boxy, oversized Japanese inspired shirt and it has zari. And it was not just working. So for the longest time, I would keep the pallu, cut them up and keep them in a box. And this was my chance to use it. So I patched all the pallus together. It had the zari in them. And we had the first breakthrough like, okay, again, it had the mix of colors. Once we patched, made a puffy jacket. This is like a thermal jacket. It has like a beautiful layer of puffy merino wool inside. It keeps someone warm. And it's layered with, I intentionally put a very expensive Orissa silk ikat as a lining and all the scraps outside to show. Normally, you do a very elaborate, beautiful, expensive fabric as the outside and a basic lining, right? So we switched the whole thing. It's not even a reversible jacket. It was supposed to create a moment of surprise when you open the jacket, all the goodies are inside. So we put the basic fabric outside for a reason. And all the pallus were patched together. Again, originally it was in multiple colors. We over dyed them in indigo. And what happened interestingly is the zari cannot take color. The zari still remains zari. But then with the boiling and dyeing process, it breaks. It breaks, but it doesn't break out fully. It's still there. So the zari started shining through. And interestingly, the Bengal pallus are all stripes. It's combinations of stunning stripes. When the colors went away, it got unified with indigo. It became this puffer jacket. When the stripes as the zari shined through, there was no mango motive, there was no peacocks in there. It was just simple. Suddenly, the whole jacket became very international looking, and we actually sold these pieces in Liberty, London, um, as part of our IFS program. This again is the same fabric. It's just to have an idea of there is no one way to wear a sari, right? So one can express themselves very interestingly using a 5 meter fabric in different ways. So we wanted to break the usual way. I cut a hole and stitched a sleeve to the fabric. So you put your sleeve on and then reverse drape yourself and tie it with a belt. So why not? It's just a conceptual piece, anyways. Okay, I did something. I need some tech help here, please. I couldn't change the slides much. Again, for Atmos, what we did was when I zoomed in and out, it's not. So what we did was, no, I don't want to zoom out. Can I change the slides? Ah, okay, perfect. Thank you. Ah, thank you. So here, these are the dyers basically. These are the dyers in Tindivanam with Anbalagans, dyeing extraction place, and I'm sure. I mean, Monica is from NIFT, Chennai. I don't know, probably she visited them. It's one of the biggest indigo extraction plant in India. They existed long before independence, and they still continue to do. They're the biggest suppliers of indigo cakes throughout the world, basically, and one of the biggest sources in India. So we wanted to cover the people. I mean, why am I just showing clothes without showing the people who got involved in the making, right? How can I do these indigo clothes and these things and show it in a fancy place without showing who exactly made them? So these were the dyers. These were the extraction people. They were not even dyers. Again, I wanted to ignore the two main factors everybody would have done it: the clothes and the dyeing process. So we ignored both. We shot the clothes through people and the language and the community. We told the story like that. And then we went to one step before the dyeing. Where do you get the indigo dyes from? How are they grown? What is their working condition? And nobody shows this as a brand, right? But when we work with the right source, if they have a good condition, if they look nice, why not show them, right? So these guys are working. This man has been, I think his name is Palani. He's been working with them. He started working with them when he was 16 or something, and he's still working with the farm. He's still doing the extraction. So we wanted to document. And this doesn't happen very easily in the rest of the world. So this is the older godown they used to have during their dad's times. This was the first small room they had. We wanted to show the traces of everything. The wall was not painted blue. The wall was originally white. Can you imagine, like, 20 years of traces of stacking up indigo? It kind of dyed the entire place. The floor was beautiful blue. The walls were blue. The gunny bags were blue. Every carton box to everything, everyone. It was just stunning. So this is the extraction pits. So this is where they got the dyes done. And I went in peak summer when they were also cleaning the tank. So I found it very beautiful. If you see, one of the tank has little water in it, the rest were dry. So I wanted to show it's visually stunning. This is the Indigo Ferreira plant we have in South India. So this is right after the harvest, and these people just bring it in the trucks, dry them up, crush them up. You know the whole process. You guys study about it. But again, everybody knows the process, theoretically speaking. Everybody knows the process through the videos we watch and the thing. But who are the people who's doing it? Who are the people who are doing it, and how are they doing it, and where are they from? This is how it is, the drying thing. I find it really beautiful. So when we sold this in Liberty had a picture of this blown up on the wall, which felt amazing. That's exactly what I wanted to create. Um, I personally love the connection that happens between a remote village in Bengal like Fulia and Shantipur and Murshidabad, and the fabrics coming from that, the people working in there, and then it eventually end up in an international store purely for one reason: it's good quality. And we all have to be so proud that it comes from our villages, it comes from our artisans. So sadly, there was a moment in Indian fashion. um, we did not appreciate our Indian craftsmanship very much. We were trying to copy the West. We were trying to copy the fast fashion based things, and there was a bad moment in between. But I think the whole thing is switched. I'm very proud and happy to say we work with the fourth generation weavers and dyers who are like my age and your age, and weavers who are like our age. And one of my weavers in Varanasi, he's only 19. He's already heading their entire team, and because his dad is doing an earlier um, retirement because of health issues, and this boy was given the chance to do almost 300 beavers at the age of 19. He's doing phenomenally well. So there is an exposure today. He basically dropped out. He was supposed to join NIFT. He basically dropped out, and he's taking care of the family business. And now he's called to come to um, NIFT Varanasi to even give a lecture. So isn't it incredible? Like, life has its own plans, right? So this is what it's meant to do. So the quality we have is incredible. Which international brand did not have an influence and reference from India? Almost everyone at some point or the other, right? Your Galliano to your Dior to Chanel to, you just name it. There is even a Yogi jacket inspired by something in India from the nomads in Rajasthan. So we have to be proud of these things. We need to show the process. And the connecting point is the biggest point. The gunny bags filled in, this looked like people to me, so we took these pictures. I can't believe how clean the place is. This is in a remote tiny village, Nothing has been edited in this picture. This is how it always looks. I like how it's so much of a brand also. It looks so minimal. It exactly has what it needs to have in period. No decoration, nothing extra, no fringes, no unnecessary things. Very straight and clean stuff. It's almost zen to me. So, end of our boring presentation. Okay, so now, see, the whole presentation is to, the whole point is to share all this is basically um, I wanted to show you guys a little bit of my journey. I was equally clueless when I was sitting on that side when I started. I remember there was an industrial mentor who came and gave a talk in our auditorium in Chennai, and he's from a big company, a production company. And when they passed on the mic to me being an introvert kid again, I was trying to avoid, but it ended up with me. So I had to ask a question. The only thing I asked was like, how can I avoid a corporate job? And the guy took it really badly because I know it, and in his offense, it's the wrong question to the wrong guy. But he was very kind to basically explain me. He asked me what I wanted to do. I told him I wanted to do I wanted to make things on my own. I wanted to weave my own. I wanted to make things on my own. I wanted to photograph the way I wanted. I wanted to do my own graphics for my brand. They're like, well, you're talking about starting your own brand. When you start your own brand, you have no choice. You have to make all this yourself. And don't think in India we can call people and get 10 things done. That'll happen eventually at some point, but you'll still have to do a lot of yourself. So you want to do all this together, just start your brand. And I really kept thinking about it because I didn't think about it before that point. It's a random conversation I got caught in, and it really got me thinking. And it stuck with me basically. Like when I finished college, I was very clear I'm not going to be working for anyone for very long. So I did it to gather some money, and as soon as I was comfortable, I just started. And going back to my very first point here, it's very easy to start and have an opportunity in India, but it's very challenging to continue because I always suggest, NIFT alumni group as well as our Chennai NIFT centers that you guys should be taught definitely about business because you have to sell to get a chance to make one more time. That's why it's so important to be able to sell, and it's not the mainstream selling today. There are so many storytelling has become so important, right? Like one of you mentioned how you I mean it caught your eye because it comes from your town and it's an interesting story. So the storytelling, they're doing it very clean. If they're just making amazing clothes and putting it out, you're not going to buy it anymore. You need a reason to buy. The million other brands doing it, why would you buy from my brand? No. So there's a reason you all are listening to me also, right? We did something right. So we had some story about ourselves, right? So that's the whole point. I want you to think about it. Now, we had printed some sheets for you all. If we can distribute around quickly. I have a copy with me also. It's a very simple thing. It's not a test, so don't worry. It's not. No one's judging this. There are no marks or first prize here. Are we still awake, guys? No. This is the most disciplined batch ever. Not a word. I actually do. No, but they're gonna get a copy. No? I sent it to me now. So, okay, again, the whole point is it might not be relevant to some of them. The reason being, you might not want to think about starting your brand, but I'm going to take the liberty to say, what if you did? It's just theoretical, it's just an idea, right? We're just having fun with it. We can do that, right? Whether we really start or not, whether you really want to do it or not, you might even hate fashion tomorrow and start a cutty roll shop, like my friend. So it's just a theoretical thing. So have fun with it. Don't take it very seriously. It's just to trigger a thought for you, right? Do you all have the sheet with you? Everyone? All of you? Can I see the sheet? Okay, cool. Let's start. So what's the objective of this thing? Like, I didn't want to be just as one side preaching you what I did and what was my idea. I want you all to think what is your idea about this, right? And this is only for yourself. So approach it in any way possible that you best can, right? So imagine it's 2030 when you're all nice and old and wise, right? Sorry, the thing. Ah, okay, the laptop. Let me take this sheet. Yeah. So the idea is imagine one day you might not want to wait till 2030, but imagine you want to do it sooner or later. If you're running your own fashion brand that is built on sustainability and responsibility, um, what does it look like and how does it work? It's more like how do you want it to work? So that's the thing. We're going to see, talk with your intuition, go with the first glance of thought that you get. Who has the mic here? Okay, can we give it to anyone on that side? That side has been super quiet. Give it to anyone on that side, please. Hi.
Hi.
Let's do this, right? Okay. What's your name?
Muskan.
Muskan, nice. Muskan, so you know the question, right?
Yeah.
So it's again theoretical. Which department are you in, Muskan?
Textile.
Textile,
design.
cool. Do you ever think about starting your own brand or doing anything?
Yeah. Actually, my mom's in the same field,
Cool.
so I've looked up to her all my life. Yeah.
Nice. What does she do again?
She runs a boutique. She's a designer on her own as well.
Yeah. Where is
Yeah.
she based?
Delhi.
Delhi. You're from Delhi?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you want to take over or do your own one day, is it?
So right now, after college ends, I was hoping I'll have some industry experience,
Okay.
and after that, I'll try setting up my own thing. If it doesn't work out, I have a backup.
There's always mama.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Good plan.
Yeah.
I wish I had that clarity when I started. I just jumped in without knowing swimming. So cool. So we're discussing one day when you start your brand,
Yeah.
you want it to be sustainable and responsible.
Yes.
What would you design it as? We're not talking about the clothes you design, we're talking about how you design your brand. How would you, what are the factors you would keep in mind? Just think about, you must have thought about it or it might just occur to you right now. Just be open about it.
Um, I haven't thought about it in much detail,
That's a good start.
but yeah, somewhere uh, where ethnic yet modern.
Yeah.
So maybe having a fusion of street style with Indian embroideries.
Yeah.
So that'll be something different, something that's not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would like for my brand to be very graphic.
Graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So you want to, yeah. So does your mom work with Indian textiles? She
Yes.
works with handlooms and stuff?
Yes.
So you want to continue that as well?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. I like your honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, see, it's very simple. Like, again, she's trying to find the little pocket of interest of hers and also the little pocket of gap in, I mean, why not a street? In fact, streetwear brands using Indian textile is a huge success. It's like one of the
Yeah.
biggest trends right now. Do you know? There is a brand called Story MFG. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you follow them?
I don't follow them, but I do know about them. Even Amiri does a lot
Mary.
of this.
Yeah. You heard
But
of
that's
Kadu?
again an international brand, so they don't really take the embroideries as specific as
Yeah.
an Indian person might.
Yeah. Yeah. You heard of Karthik Research?
Sorry?
Karthik Research?
Yeah.
How many of you know that? Okay. And Kado? Do you guys know Kado? Kado's from Delhi. It's a friend of mine, Ricky. You don't know Kado? You guys missing out. So Kado does incredible work with like so many craftsmen across India. By the way, they work with even your block printing, indigo dyeing, weaving, you name it. Like even in South, it spans all across India. Bandhani, so many things he does, but it's streetwear, Kado's streetwear. He does some really cool trousers, jackets, patchworks, appliques, embroideries. So that is his strength. It's pretty much like what you're envisioning. You should check out these brands. Story is a friend also, Syed. He's from UK, but he's obsessed with India. He comes a lot here. He works with Indian textiles. He works only and purely with only natural dyes. Story, you wouldn't see any azure-free dyes, other kinds of dyes, impossible. It's purely on natural dyes. But again, Story is a great example of how these uh, these humble textiles from our villages can have that international appeal. You guys have your phones with you, right? You can check out Story MFG and Cardo and Karthik Research, of course. If you haven't heard of it, just have a quick glimpse. Like the first impression you get. I want you to understand what we're talking about, right? So sometimes we undervalue our own crafts, which is right around us. You know, I know. I used to think like that. I used to think like, oh, I want to work with Japanese denim. It's fascinating. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But what is wrong with the Bengal denim? What is wrong with the Kutch denim? What is wrong with your Kala cotton as a denim? Right? We even did combinations of denim right now with like merino wool and silk from Orissa. Take them on weave in Bengal. We can do such amazing cocktails in our country. Like I said, every state has a craft. Every state has a color palette. Every state has a their own brilliant textile. So I've done a lot of weaving in Bengal. Um, I honestly don't understand my Bengal love. It's surprising to me as well. Any Bengalis here? Oh, nice. So I was just in Calcutta also recently, and I just really don't understand how I got so into the Bengal craft. Um, there was something easy about working with them, and they would never say no. I think that's the biggest factor for me. Like I would take a South Indian inspired pattern and design and color palette, and I would mix them up with a Bengal loom. They would happily do it. They would always try. They always tried, and they still support me. So that ease is amazing, and it's also a joy to catch a train from Calcutta to go to Fulia and Shantipur. It takes 3 hours, and it's a packed train. Otherwise, you need to drive for 4 hours. This is even better. And while you're sitting in the train, they put a basket on you and start selling guavas, and somebody will give the random kid on your lap, and you have to take them for another 1 hour. So, but it's the joy of it. It's fun of it. But I'm not alone. Huh? I've met such interesting foreigners taking the same train, going to Fulia and Shantipur and working. You guys know Ace and Jig, this brand called Ace and Jig? You know them? Yeah. So Ace and Jig is very textile focused brand also. There is one called Marakashi Life. You know Marakashi Life? You guys want to Google Marakashi Life? It's so different from Story MFG. It's so different from your 1111. But Marakashi Life, it's Marrakesh inspired basically, but they have their own local craft. They have their own interesting thing going on. That brand is based on that. So they tell their story. The shoots are phenomenal. I always get jealous of the shoots. It's just beautiful. African textile fashion, the aesthetic is something that I really, really love. They have done it stunningly. It's also very relevant today. Um, I've seen the real pieces in Dover Street Market, and it's just stunning. It's a joy to even feel the fabrics and touch. And the best part is they don't put a big tag bragging about how they're saving the planet, how many people get work done through that. They just quietly do it. That's again going back to our manifesto. When you do something believing in what you believe in and you make it into your manifesto and your goal, this is the only way to be. You don't need to preach about it for someone to buy. People buy it for, why would you buy something? It looks nice. You look good on it. It fits your pocket. You can afford it basically. And it's still in fashion, right? That's why you would take a choice when you buy something, isn't it? Is it true? You won't buy, you won't take something ugly even for free, right? True or no? We won't take something ugly even given for free. It's impossible. That's not what fashion is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you feel good. It's when you wear a jacket from UOG, you feel good. That's why you want a UOG Yamamoto. When you wear a Sabyasachi bridal, that's how you dreamt of getting married. That's why it's a big hit, right? So that aspiration it brings, what it makes you is what you need, right? That's the power of fashion, and that's why it's so important to do it rightly. No, another person, anyone else, like anyone else? Let's give the mic to the latecomer. Yeah, give it to her. Yes. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. You just walked in, isn't it?
Sorry.
You just walked in?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Right candidate for this. So, have you been watching the presentation before or no? Perfect. Even better. Okay. So, we're debating here, contemplating of starting a brand, all of us together in 2030. We wanted it to be sustainable and responsible. Okay. Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Tulip.
Sorry?
Tulip.
Tulip. Wow, that's a good brand name. So if you would start a brand called Tulip tomorrow and we want it to be sustainable and responsible, what would you do to make it happen? Don't say I wouldn't want to make clothes. That's the best sustainable way. It's true, but you can't do that. Which department are you from, Tulip?
Textile.
Cool. Okay. Say you want to make a brand making fabrics, maybe not clothes. And what would you want that brand to be?
Maybe something that do with natural dyes and eco print.
Why would that? Why is that? Come on, it's so hard to go to the village, die dealing with some random Bengali speaking broken Bengali language that you don't know, and die and bring and explain to your customer why they have to pay 1,000 rupees extra for natural dye saving the planet. And why would you take so much trouble? Tulip,
Yes, sir.
I transported you somewhere else. I teleported you. You can just say that's the way I want to be, right? No,
Yeah.
I'm helping you too much. Okay. You know, it's fine. It's fair. Like, do you wear? Do you have a lot of clothes which are natural dyed?
Yeah, I wear eco print.
Exactly. What is eco print?
You use natural leaves or something and make an imprint on the
Oh,
clothes.
those. Did you make
Yeah.
them also? Do you guys learn how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it's. I mean, I see them all over right now in Oroville. There are almost 10 brands doing eco printing, by the way. You know the leaf impression ones, right?
Yeah.
So it's stunning. It's nice. Um, yeah. Sorry for putting you on spotlight. I just wanted to have fun here. Okay. So anyone else thought about what your brand should be? Does anybody desperately want to open a brand soon, as soon as you get out of NIFT? Raise your hands. Cool. Give the mic to this guy. Where is the mic? Someone run, please. You also. Give it to him first. It's closer to you.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Good, af-
Good afternoon, sir.
So before speaking about or talking about my brand, so I want to know in the morning session we were speaking about the open costing. So regarding that, as a brand, why I should reveal the making cost of a product that I'm selling?
That's a great question. See, you don't have to do anything in first place, right? You don't even have to make anything sustainable. You don't even have to do. It's all your own choice. It's a free country, right? It's a free world. You can do anything you like. You don't have to do it, but it's just one of the ways that you earn the trust of a customer. See, you can even show your profit margin is, I don't know, X3. Like say, for example, it takes you 2,000 rupees to make a shirt. You can decide to sell it for, including every expenses. I'm saying, you can decide to sell it for 15,000 tomorrow. Nobody can question you, right? Am I right?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, but Actually, I'm a craft based, I'm from the craftsman background.
Nice.
So I work on the leather lampshades and leather paintings and all.
Yeah.
So whenever I quote a cost of that product, so there will be like 3 points I used to put into the point for the costing a product. Like
Yeah.
one is making, second is like labor, third is the profit. So
Yeah.
like I separate every product's cost as like 3 parts. So there will be for every cost there will be a reason like why I was quoting that cost of that product. So even like then why I have to reveal that price to the customer? So if they know, like they will bargain with us, and they
Okay. Okay. No,
luxury brand, they never, they might sell the shoe for the 40,000, but they don't say like that product was that worthy for that price.
I agree with you. See, again, it's not a mandatory thing. We don't have the law to reveal your entire costing, right? Imagine that would be so funny. There was recently an issue of how much it actually costs to make a luxury brand's bag and how much they retail. Do you guys see that? Did you guys see that in the news? I was surprising to even see NDTV discussing that and some local channels discussing that. So it's not it's not a luxury market's problem anymore, right? The questioning on costing has become everyone's problem now. It's everyone's rights to question, right? But it's also the rights of the brands to reveal or not. But the point here is, when you have nothing to hide, why hide? You know what I mean? So when you approach a brand like that, it elevates or does it have a problem? You know, if your fear is about the client bargaining with you, if you have the right story to tell, that's what I was getting at. Even if it costs only 2,000 rupees to make, but then you sell it for 15,000, there's no one to question you if they value it. Correct? So if we all, and also there is a lot of hidden cost. It's like you made it very simple, like the design cost, making cost, and profit. Period. But it's not true. There's so much that goes behind it. What happens to everything that you don't sell? Right? What happens to all the taxes you pay? What happens to all the things that get lost in the transit? Whatever. What happens to your running expenses of things and all that? So there's so many things. It's not a direct costing. That is what we suffer in a real-time industry than doing a smaller product. Again, recently I worked on something crazy. I had to do a landing cost, an open costing for a buyer in France. And France is very interesting in terms of imports. They don't pay your shipping separately. They don't pay your, they won't even pay their own import duty from their pocket. You have to give, like, say you're selling 10,000 euros worth of stock. Normally when they get the piece, they have to pay an import duty, right? And there is a shipping cost, they have a landing tax, whatnot. So they want us to calculate per piece. If I'm selling this shirt, they want it to be divided and put already everything included, and they wanted us to pay. They will only receive the products and pay us, not five other people in the process. So it's a mind-boggling, crazy calculation. If one mistake I do, the €2 gone out of 500 pieces, right? It's 1,000 euros gone for me. That's 1 lakh rupees we're talking. So it's a very tricky process. And interestingly, again, as sustainable as I want to be and do, I'm not against technology. You would be surprised how I tackle this. I use ChatGPT for this one. It did a phenomenal calculation. It took me 20 minutes. We're doing this for the first time. Nobody in my team knows about this one. So we can't be sure that we do it correctly. But then once I did it, I ran it through with a friend of mine who owns a brand, Story Mapchi. And I cross-calculated it, and I was 99% right. We just have to tweak a little bit, which is basically the conversion cost. I didn't calculate that it's fluctuating. So everything matters, right? So we have to declare the open costing to them. And they did ask, like, they did negotiate. They did ask, like, why are your profit margins so high? The only reply of mine is, why not? Right? So if I value my product, if I can't value my product, who else is going to value my product? No? Does it answer you a little bit?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So another question.
Yeah.
See, if I was going to name my brand, so my craft is based like storytelling. Leather puppetry is basically storytelling. So I named it as a Chitrakatha.
Yeah.
So like something a story was told by some painting or some picture. So I named it as a Chitrakatha.
Yeah.
But few of my faculties, like few of my friends, colleagues, or they are asking me, why don't you change it some trendy name, so which will connect with the Gen Zs or the modern trend. So
Yeah.
like, how can I change it? The name which can be connected through the this kind of generations or
See, again, there is nothing wrong in keeping the name relevant to your roots, right? If someone in Europe is not going to understand what Chitrakatha is initially, it's fine. Or if your Indian clientele is going to judge you, oh, it's a very traditional brand, it's also fine. But the only way to break it, if you really believe in that name, is by creating something that they cannot ignore, right? Tomorrow, it might even be cool, trendy to wear Chitrakatha, even like a exposed brand on the back of a jacket. You never know what it can develop into. It can be little um, doubtful right now, but what I'm saying is you need to believe in, you need to have the clarity in what you want to make. So who's your audience? That's very important, right? So again, if you say that name, if you vote for this room and in this room, these guys are all designers. They're thinking about, they know so many other brands. It's like there's so many brains better than one brain, right? If you simply take a vote in this room, how many of them like Chitrakatha? How many of them don't like Chitrakatha? I'm sure you have hands for both, correct? So can you say whoever raised the hands supporting it is your customer and the other one is not? You can't. Why?
because they also might buy my products and
Why would they buy it?
so it's like craft or something. So
No,
they
if
might
they see it, if they're convinced, if they like it, the name doesn't matter anymore. But the name will have a positive impact on them, even for the ones who vote against it just by hearing the name. They haven't seen your product yet. So the focus is always the product, right? See, you cannot, how do I explain this in a funny way? Okay, in my time in NIFT, I don't know if it's still the same thing. There are two kinds of students very clearly. The one who would do all the hard work, the day and night they will paint, and this is in the first semester we're talking about, right? They would put up this big pinboard for jury, and when it comes to presenting it, they would hold their chest and die. They can't explain their own work. Can you guys relate to it? Yeah, how many of you has been there, done that? I've done that many times. So we had a terror of faculties from Shantiniketan and amazing guys. Like, these are real-time artists, and I'm doing my watercolor painting and trying to sell it to them. And actually, sir, actually, I inspired by uh, everybody did that, been there, done that, And then there's an other crowd. There are only two kinds of Niftians. One is this: super skilled, very, very talented, amazing workmanship and everything. Very, very skilled people. They can't explain. They can't explain even at a gunpoint. They would rather take the shot, right? And there's in other crowds, the city boys and girls. Amazing. They would put white paper on the board and talk for 2 hours. Is it true or not, Monica? I've been in that situation. I'll be across the hall and I'll be like, what is there in it? I mean, this is not fair. You know? So the point here, answering to that one, connecting is sometimes storytelling is so important. Sometimes the product is so important. But when you can do both, you can sell anything with any name on it. Do you agree? But it should be genuinely your story. Right?
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
don't focus on the name, focus on your product.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, anyone else? We can take two more and let you all free.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
So now I'm owning a denim brand called Van Vogue.
You already own a brand.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? You're testing the market? Or what?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we are producing around 2,000 to 3,000 pieces per consignment. So how can I make it sustainable? Like, how can I source this much of materials, like as a sustainable?
I mean, what's the problem?
How do I convert into a sustainable?
What do you mean by that? You want to take all the 2,000 pieces denim as handwoven, or what is the question here?
Like now we are sourcing the like normal garments
From the
material.
mills.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a sustainable thing.
Why is it not sustainable?
Like the process we are making, it's not sustainable.
See, you've taken a product which involves heavy processing in general, right?
Yeah.
Denims are not easy to make. It's a very industrialized process, anyways. You know that you own the factory. Are you buy the fabric and make them, stitch them?
Yes.
Okay, so have you been to the mills? Have you been to
Yeah.
where are these mills?
These are situated in the like around in Karnataka only.
In Karnataka. Okay, they do the spinning and weaving there
Yeah.
of denims. So which part of what you saw is not sustainable according to you of these mills?
Like the garments, the material.
Why is it polyester?
Some kind of polyester.
They have a mix.
Yeah, they have the mix.
Okay, so you're answering yourself. So maybe why don't you do cotton? Is it your clients don't want cotton? You never
Depends.
ask them. See, it's again the product and process. They are one in most situations, right? You cannot create an eco-friendly product in a toxic environment. It's just not possible. Like you cannot create vice versa, basically, right? So it's not difficult to make anything sustainable anymore. I mean, it's very easy. I just gave you guys a bunch of options. You know this brand called Kora, Kora. You guys know? Has anyone heard of Kora? It's with Bombay Shirt Company today. They bought it over, but it was started originally by 1111, I guess. So Kora is denim. It's only denim, by the way. And you should check them out. They're doing what you're asking for. So there's so many brands doing that. In fact, your own Levi's has a sub thing. You heard of this Levi's pet bottle project? You guys heard of that? They kind of turn pet bottles. You know what your Coca-Cola and all these wasted bottles. They make yarns out of it and they weave with the denim. So that's one way. There's so many ways today. It's not, again, it's about questioning your choices. Like you might currently have, again, if you say like, okay, I don't have my clients paying for that, then you need to open up a market. Maybe it's an opportunity. It's not a problem, right? A problem opens up an opportunity. So you need to look at who are the other brands doing denim, the same thing what you're doing, in the way that you aspire to be, and then understand how they're doing it and where their sources are, and you find them and work with them. Simple. It's not like not available. It's all made in India, right? Cool. Okay, one more. Anyone? You wanted something also, no?
Yes, so the session was really great.
Thanks.
My question is not really related to the topic, but you mentioned that you didn't want to work for a corporate brand, or like you didn't want to work under somebody else.
I tried, by the way.
Yeah, because I'm exactly like that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but at the same time, I do want to create something of myself. And you also mentioned that you were an introvert,
Yeah.
but the way you were presenting, you seemed very confident. So I want to know, like, how did you get there? How did you navigate? And especially in fashion industry, you have to network a lot,
Yes.
and you have to network with the right people.
Yeah.
And you have to get your concept, out there
Yeah.
through the right people. So how did you like, manage everything?
It didn't come easy, I have to say, at least in my case. It took me a very long time. Like I told you, when I joined NIFT, I could barely cross the road in Chennai. I come from a little town in Vellore. This choice of joining NIFT happened purely by chance to me. I was not aiming for it. I was not planning for it. So once I did it, I was in a circumstance where I had no other choice than perform. Sometimes the pressure of You have to make it or break it, you know. So that helped me a lot. There was no other way. I didn't have a second plan B. Like there was no other plan. I had to do what I had to do wherever I was really well. That was the only choice given to me. So I remember we had an open policy in NIFT at that time. We could just sign up for working overnight. Do you guys do that still? You don't do that. We had a fun time. We can basically sign a register and work all night before the juries. Literally, we slept under the patent making table and wake up and work again. And and we had this. Everybody would listen to music and play and work. And this was already in the first year we were doing all the second year when we got into the department. Um, when I complained about, mostly I didn't speak much because I didn't know how to speak. So language was a big problem to me. So one of the ways I tackled was thanks to a friend of mine who mentioned this very casually, like, huh, what are you listening to? I said, I'm listening to a BBC documentary. So instead of music, I was listening to a documentary. Before that, I was listening to movies, and then I realized American English is not the best. It's maybe the British one. So I had to switch to a documentary. I would listen about penguins to peacocks to whatnot. It doesn't matter. I just had to listen. I just had to, because you're working for 3 hours, 4 hours continuously. So you're not distracted by anything else. You just have to be on it. It's the best time to listen to that. So that's how I learned my language. I learned English. So that gave me more confidence to start presenting. I mean, getting a language is one, but presenting is another problem, right? When we did Fashion Week, it took me very long time actually to break that. So when I did the first Fashion Weeks, I did not know what happens after. So basically, you walk out of the runway and they will take you to the media room. There were like 5, 10 cameras and a lot of people asking questions. Only you would know how many mistakes you made and how bad the collection was, but everybody was suddenly praising and going crazy. I never understood the hype a designer gets anywhere. I think it's overrated, to be honest, and I never understood that. Of course, there are real talents, and I also have my idols in fashion, which I really worship and I look up to. But I never understood the amount of craze it gets, right? So I used to wonder, what is this thing? And I would choke. So I figured out the second show onwards, instead of going this side to the media room, I can always run that side. So that's what I did all the time. The initial 3, 4 years, there was no interview, there was no media. And Lakme was mad at me for doing that because they would have people waiting. I would run on the other side. And in my mind, I was like, it's my brand, it's my comfort. Why should I force myself and sound like an idiot? So I would run. And then I started to do that again. And I was pushed to do that. And something like IFS really broke my eyes because out of the 16 designers, I realized everyone was equally scared as me. Everyone was. And imagine, I told you about Duran, I told you about Tibet. They won LVMH prize today, but they were equally shit scared as me that time. So that kind of breaks the ice. You when you see, it's like, I recently started playing tennis, and I was telling this friend like, oh no, um, these pros retiring at this age, and I'm starting at this age. What is wrong with me? But then the guy was telling me like, no, they think the same way. Your opponent is also equally scared about you. I was like, really? Yeah, because you're hitting recklessly and he's not prepared for it. So that boosts the confidence. Now I'm starting to play better. It's all relative. So when you understand that everything is relative, someone else is more scared than you, it goes away somehow. I don't know. It's by doing. Does it make sense?
Yes, sort of.
A little bit.
Yes, but I also want to know, like, how do you? Okay, I don't know how to frame this question, but how do you make your way through, the industry? Because it's a lot of things. It's very overwhelming, right?
Yes.
It's a lot of ideas. Like you said, it's very competitive. It's
It is.
so much different than what it used to be before because everybody's coming up with a brand.
Yeah.
So how do you get your idea across? And how do you strongly make a point?
It's funny you're asking this question because I once asked the same question too. When I was joining NIFT, I used to get trained. There were these centers to train for entrance exams and stuff, right? So that was in Chennai. I used to catch a train and from Vellore and come and do that. And one of the guys who trained was an ex-NIFT alumni. And I asked Preet that time, and Preet found out that I was coming from far away and I had to catch the train every time. Once he gave me a lift, I was sitting one-to-one with him instead of like one amongst 100. I was sitting with him in the car and he was dropping me to the station. I asked him the same question. I asked him like, Preet, I have a thing like, because he studied in NIFT Chennai and he's not doing anything about design. And I think Sabir was 2 years older than him in a batch in Calcutta. That got me thinking like, am I going to end up like this? I mean, it's nothing wrong. Am I going to end up um, like designing, or do I get a chance, or like what defines it? You know, like what you're asking, what actually makes it or breaks it for someone? It's very overwhelming, right? What is that thing that we can do right to make it happen? No, I just asked him, how many are going to give the exam? And he said some crazy number. You know, the selection processes are. And I told him how many are getting in. He was like, Nashad, what are you getting at? It's like, how come there are only few famous designers and not many are not even known? You know, what should I do to that? You know, he didn't have an answer, by the way. He didn't know. And he was honest about it. He didn't preach some bullshit to me. Again, in my case, I had no choice. That's one. And two, uh, honesty always pays, right? You need to be true to yourself. Like, you can't give up. Like, basically, there were moments I also want to shut down. It's not easy. It's not even today. I think sometimes like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Who am I going to prove it to? These questions happen even at some stage, right? It definitely occurs to you when you start, but whoever survives it are the ones who are surviving it. And all you need to remember, it's again a relativity issue, like a concept. If you understand everyone's on it together, the ones who make it all on it together, the ones who gives up are all on it together, you can have a clear choice which side you're going to be even on a difficult day, right? Like COVID, for example, how many brands got shut down for COVID? Did anybody see that coming? No. But that's a real test of who can survive and not, because they plan the model in such a way that they can survive. Whoever didn't plan it on a crisis didn't survive. Very simple as that. Nobody saw that coming. So luckily, my brand was designed in a way that we could survive. We didn't lay off anybody. We went social media and we asked to support, and people bought. I was just shipping out things from home. We shifted all the sewing machine to all my tailors' houses. I need to pay them. So you need to adapt. That's another model. The third point is that you need to change, because everything and everyone in your industry is changing all the time. You can't be having the same strict format and say, I believe in this, I want to do it. That's also foolishness. You need to change. See? Gets it
Thank
somewhere?
you.
Okay. He wanted something, no?
Hello, sir.
Hi.
So, what I really want to know is like, how do you come up with the storytelling? So, I myself am not with a culturally rich background. I don't have like a story for myself. So, I'm from Delhi. I'm like well educated. I have like all the things that I had. So, I don't have a story kind of things that I really want to showcase because it's not very like fascinating. It's just a mediocre life that I lived right now. Yeah.
Okay, see, the storytelling, um, if you have if you come from a background, if you see, I could say the same thing about me. Honestly, I told you I come from a little town in Vellore. What storytelling I had there now? Honestly, if I think about it, back then I thought I had a very mediocre, repetitive. I was waiting for my first exit out to go to college. I was like, this is so boring. This is so dead. What am I looking at? But weirdly, today, I was telling Ashish the other day, we were working on a shoot idea, and he was like, where were you from and what's your childhood? I was like, no, nothing much. But I remember there's a couple of cute things that I remember, because my dad used to drag me to a mosque. We were zero religious, but I would just go there because it was built by the Nawabs back then. And it was a fascinating, beautiful building. And the walls were so thick, and the arches and the chandeliers, and there were these weddings that happened. You know, the place had the mats, and when the weddings happened, they would take these dry fruits, and as kids, we used to throw to everyone, and they would open their scarves and shawls and catch them. So I was telling these stories, and Ashish was like, "We should shoot something like this." You know, even the Kabristan there used to look beautiful. It looked like an installation straight off some movie set. So I didn't value that back then. I didn't know. I was running around climbing those things and having fun, but I didn't know. I was, like I said, I was waiting for my first ticket out. But when you think deeper, there will be something. Where's your mom and dad from?
So my mother is from Saharanpur in Uttar Pradesh. My dad is from Lucknow and Kanpur side, and again in Uttar Pradesh.
That's rich in cultural things,
Yeah.
isn't it? But you never discovered your roots there.
Not really.
And both places have crafts and textile and
Very
so
much.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there you go. That's your
Saharanpur is
answer.
famous for like wood crafts.
So you can cheat a bit saying that's where you're from. See, see, storytelling doesn't have to be always cultural oriented. In fact, I'll give you an example. Like the last shoot I did, I don't know, it's a collection called Tranquebar. Do you guys know what Tranquebar is? Do you know? Anybody? It's not a bar, by the way. So, I mean, in Bangalore, you have to be careful. Tranquebar was a Danish colony ruled almost 250 years in a tiny, small coastal village town in South India, Tamil Nadu, just below Pondi. And they have a Danish fort there, Fort Densburg, and it's written in their museum, and there are a lot of details about them in the Copenhagen Museum. I visited it once, and that's where I actually discovered. Can you imagine? I have to go to Copenhagen to discover a Danish colony in South India, which is 100 kilometers from me. I didn't know myself. Like, again, my story is all about what's in and around Pondi, right? So when I was looking for another reference, I was running out of stories to tell. And I found this Tranco bar, and I came back to Pondi, and I went there, and they have a fort, and then they have this governor's bungalow, which is converted into an Imrana hotel called Bungalow by the Beach. And I stayed there. What a stunning view. There are literally 4 streets. It's like a micro Pondi, haunted, empty, nothing. There's a fort, nobody. There's beach manga and nothing else. It has so much stories. It's just like fascinating. And then when I track back, I realized there's so much of textile that got smuggled from there. You know the stories of how the whole India was British, a little bit of French, Portuguese, and the Danish were the last one to the party. They were really, really late. They came in, the bar got closed. So they ended up with a tiny piece, and they were there for 250 years. They got permission from the Tanjore Naik to do trading from there. But how do you think they traded it? They were, because predominantly it's British occupied, right? So they had a pact with the French from Pondi. They by boat bring textile smuggling through the sea and export it to Copenhagen and all over. And then we track back, there's a record of the governor of what all textiles they worked with. It had Bengal textile, interestingly. It had Ikat from Andhra. It had Madras checks, the early versions of it. Indigo, plenty of indigo. So what we did was we took the list. I tried to recreate the textiles. In my mind, I was like, okay, if I would have been a merchant that time, what would I be smuggling there? That was the story, period. It made all those fabrics there, And then when it came to clothes, they intermarried, they married locals, they did, some of them went to Copenhagen, and such a mix. It's a messy, creative mix. I'm not supporting the colonization. What I'm saying here is, as there is a parallel story that happened, right? The Europeans started copying the Tamils. The Tamils started copying the Europeans. That's why you see our Bharatiyar poet was wearing a suit with a dhoti. It's not from our culture. He borrowed, he mixed, no? So by copying, there was a parallel fashion sense in existence. So there were stories of how the Tamil women have these flowers on their head. The European women started putting lace on their head instead of a collar. So we started making some pieces like that. So I didn't want it to be a costume party. The idea is not to create it, replicating piece by piece. So again, there is nothing to refer. It's only stories and little things and notes, right? So that becomes a reference, that becomes an inspiration. So what I'm saying is just when I thought I was out of ideas, there is something new. You never know. You'll find yours.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, you've been amazing. This is the most patient crowd I've ever. I mean, I've never been in a crowd. Just saying. Thank you all. Thank you all for this thing. Thank you for coming down to even listen to me. Um, I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you we have a very cute studio in Old Tamil House in Pondi. It's a very nice town as well. So if any of you ever want to peep in, intern, anything, just walk in. You guys know me now. You're most welcome. Okay. Thank you, and all the best for everything.
Yeah. So, on behalf of NIFT Bengaluru, it's my privilege to extend a vote of thanks. First and foremost, we would like to express our gratitude to our respected Director General NIFT, Ms. Tanu Kashyap IAS, for envisaging the masterclass series for all the campuses. Thank you very much, ma'am. We would also heartfelt thanks. We will give heartfelt thanks to Dr. Nupur Anand, Professor and Dean Academics NIFT, for her guidance and support. Sincere gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Mr. Naushad Ali, for sharing all the valuable insights and perspective. Your thoughtful presentation and I think the interactive activity which you did with our students has not only deepened the understanding of design but also has inspired us to think more critically and creatively. I would like to thank our director, Professor Dr. Yatindra L., CAC Dr. Gulnaz Banupi, esteemed faculty members who are present here and who are watching us live, and the students for the enthusiastic participation, which has added much value in today's session. A special word of appreciation goes to the organizing team, the team behind the scenes, which is Mr. Himanshu Nanda, Ms. Meena, Mr. Rudresh, Mr. Sumant, Mr. Bikas, Mr. Mohan, and all the people in admin who have been there, and their efforts have ensured that today's session was conducted smoothly and successfully. Finally, thanking each one of you in the audience watching us live from other campuses for being a wonderful and engaging part of this program. We hope you carry forward the learnings from today and apply them meaningfully in your academic as well as professional journeys. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Pratik Ghosh. The informal session can be now be held. So if you have any questions to be asked informally to him, you can have a to if it does not get late.